So I'll get started. And that's okay. I'll repeat myself if somebody's coming in later. So thank you so much for coming. Welcome. This presentation was originally, actually, I thought it was just for freshmen and sophomore, but then I felt compelled to add juniors. I actually think you can kind of start thinking about college, not application, but consideration for college selection, maybe 8th grade, so I don't think it's too early. So I try to just keep this presentation focused on what's needed in the first 3 years of high school in order to be prepared for a successful college selection and application process. This is my
Ну, в смысле, кому надо? Мне это, что ли?
let me mute. Okay. This is my attempt with ChatGPT to go from a messy road to a straight road. So hopefully I'll be able to help you to get there with your students' college selection and application process. A little bit about myself. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm a embedded education consultant. I am a member of professional organizations here in US. I help students with course selection, extracurricular activities, summer program, everything that has to do with getting ready for college, testing strategies, application strategies, and every step of college application process. So today we will, this is just an overview of what holistic review process is like and what the schools focus on when they reviewing the applicants. So we're just going to focus on 3 areas: GPA, test scores, and extracurricular activities. Obviously, there is much more than that goes into application and into consideration. But because we right now talking about 3 years of high school, this is what we're going to focus on. Sorry, the college admission have changed significantly over the years. We've seen everything from no SATs to SAT requirements coming back. We saw change in extracurricular activity focus. So you really need to be very focused and follow the trends to understand the complexity of that. So my next slide is actually just a screenshot of NYU requirements for high school students. I wanted to show this slide early in the presentation because I often hear students saying, oh, I don't need to take another year of math, or I'm not interested in history, or no, 2 years of Spanish is fine. So NYU requires 3 to 4 years of all core subjects. But if you'll see on the bottom, they'll say that top applicants have taken demanding coursework in all subjects for 4 years. So your core subjects are English, history, math, sciences, lab-based sciences, not like environmental science, right, which is not lab-based, and foreign language. So keep attention to that from the first year in high school up to the graduation, because this will matter, and that's how your application will be reviewed. They will see what courses were offered and what actually your students have taken. If they've taken a full advantage of the coursework that was offered at their high school. So obviously, core subjects are important. The next level of rigor is honors and AP subjects. So very often I find students interested in taking random APs just because it will look good, or maybe because they heard this is an easy AP, or whatever else, or maybe because their friend is taking AP. So you have to be very strategic about APs. Some schools do not offer any APs during the sophomore year. Some schools allow students to take APs early is ninth grade. So again, just like on the slide before, I mentioned 4 subjects, think the same thing about APs. So if your student is a good student and school is not super hard for them and they're kind of good in everything, great. Make sure they take, if they choosing APs, make sure they choose APs in the core subjects. Again, it's math, it's English, sciences, history, could be language as well. If your student is better in one area than other, for example, they're interested in STEM major, then they should focus on math, physics, what else? Maybe economics, right? And then if you're really try to think about mirroring the AP subject to the potential major that your student is interested in. Clearly, you might not know exactly what your student will be majoring in, but if you know it's a STEM kid, then they would take more STEM subject. If you know student might be interested in humanities, they'll take more humanities classes. AP Stat might be good, but again, if I have to choose between AP Calc and AP Stat, I will always say AP Calculus all the way for business, for engineering, for STEM, for econ, all this calculus first. UP government, AP government and politics might be good for law and political science or international relations. AP language might be great for global studies, also international relations, etc. So again, if we can recap, be strategic about it, maybe focus first on APs that align with academic interest and balance rigor with what the students can handle. So even though I'm saying take all the APs that you can, it really doesn't make any sense to do if your student is struggling. So be very selective then. If math is good, then focus on math. If humanities are easy, then focus on humanities. This is just a snapshot. I found it somewhere online. Very colorful slide of APs. There are overall 38 APs. Our schools in Northeast very often offer about 20 APs. Again, doesn't mean that you have to take everything. But what I want you to pay attention, if your school offers human geography, it doesn't make sense to take it in the senior year, just because it's a considered easy AP. If you are interested in STEM, it might not make sense to take AP psychology or music theory. So, and this is kind of how they stack up, right? So usually 10th grade, they allow you to take world history. After 10th grade, it's pretty much open for you, but the students might need a high school teacher recommendation to take APs. So just remember that. Sorry, there is something else. We talked about that. Okay, perfect. So we covered the subjects. And again, I just want to reiterate, the first thing that colleges review are the grades, the GPA, and the next is challenging coursework. That's the first cut the colleges do. So you cannot go, you cannot ignore it. So subjects and GPA is the first most important thing. The next is the testing. We obviously know that testing has changed, requirements have changed. Last few years, we've seen more and more schools coming back with required SAT testing, but it's still kind of messy. all Florida, Georgia, and a lot of Ivy League schools require testing. UC schools, University of California school systems, said they will never go to testing, so it is what it is. If your test is amazing, you can submit it. They will not review it. They might review it after the student is accepted as a placement for some of their classes. Many schools are still test optional. So if you student taken few tests and prep really hard and the test is just not reflecting where he or she is in their studies, then maybe you should consider test optional schools. Test yellow first text flexible. It's not very flexible. It's very similar to testing required. They just allow other testings besides SAT if your SAT test for some reason is not great. So SAT is getting more importance in selective schools, in impacted majors for engineering and computer science. It's much easier to get in if you have a testing, and for merit scholarships. So a lot of schools will review your testing to consider you for merit scholarship. Sorry, this is kind of in the way. I apologize for crazy colors. Couldn't come up with anything better and a little bit more, I don't know, monochromatic. This is a testing frameline. So usually your students will take a PSAT test that will not count in sophomore year. This is a great opportunity. Make sure your students take advantage of that just to see where the student is at that moment. So usually the SAT test can improve a little bit because maybe they've taken more math or read more books, but it will not be a significant improvement. So whatever you see in the sophomore year is probably going to continue unless the student is taking some prep courses. So based on what you probably will get results in mid-December for October PSAT. So start making some decisions once you get the results. So you can have after you receive the results, your student might consider taking diagnostic SAT or ACT test. I would suggest maybe ACT because you already have PSAT and then you can compare. As far as which test is better for the students, most of the students will score exactly the same on SAT and ACT. There is a 20%, usually 20% of students who would do significantly better on one or another. And there is no way of knowing unless they take at least a diagnostic test. So I would suggest do it in the sophomore year, maybe in the spring. And then you can make a decision. So if you have summer to work on the SAT, then your students now will be taking real PSAT that will be considered for merit scholarship. And then they can take it, they feel they are ready, they can take an actual SAT test in November of their junior year. If your students, however, most of the students take the SAT test in the spring, and I think that's what schools recommend. My school of thought is if you start getting ready earlier, your results are probably going to be better. Also, if you hit a plateau and you know your results are not getting better, maybe in the spring of junior year or summer after junior year, you don't need to focus on SAT. Maybe you decide, okay, this is it. And now I'm going to spend more time on extracurricular activities, taking APs, doing research, and I'm going to apply to test optional. So I'm always for knowing earlier so you can plan better. But you can follow the pattern, taking first SAT in the fall of the junior year, then take SAT in the spring. You can repeat it in the spring again, and then make a decision before senior year. Am I going to get ready and take it one more time in the fall, or am I done? It all will depend on your GPA and how aligned it is with the score of what kind of schools and majors the students decided to apply for, and if they have time to dedicate to more SAT prep. So extracurricular activities are very important. It is not the most important thing. They will be reviewed after they will consider your SAT and GPA. But the schools want, and especially the more competitive schools, they want the students who are interested in the subjects they're planning to take, who show leadership or initiative, who can show the commitment and consistency. There are a lot that goes with extracurricular activities. It could be teamwork, dedication, leadership, personal qualities, not just athletic skills or research abilities. So here are some samples of meaningful extracurricular activities. I don't want the parents to dictate extracurricular activities to their students. Really, the motivated students are the ones who will come up with things they'd like to do and they'd like to dive deep into. They don't have to be organized extracurricular activities. It could be independent research, independent project. It could be, creating websites for local business. It could be reading books on economics and taking courses on Coursera, or following some TED Talks, etc. But definitely think about a couple of activities that a student can shine and can show a certain level of achievements. For example, like for STEM, maybe Olympiads, so they can show, or for maybe model UN competition. This is just a snapshot. We can go on and on about, what type of extracurricular activities are meaningful and serious, etc. So summer, let me mute somebody. So summer is very important. First of all, if you have parents of 8th graders or earlier, summer before freshman year counts. So summer between 8th grade and 9th grade is as important as summer after 9th grade. So if you have time and your student has time, they definitely should think about what they might be interested in, or maybe what they would like to explore. This is a time to try things out. Consider competitive programs, usually later, maybe sophomore year or so, or after. You will see more competitive programs where application looks very similar to college application, right? You will have to write an essays and a transcripts and recommendations. So those competitive programs are definitely considered more serious by universities. MIT has a great website resource where they recommend what kind of extracurricular activities or summer programs rather they, I don't want to say vetted, but they consider worthwhile. So you can always go there, but there is plenty of offline resources that offer in-person and online summer opportunities. Definitely try, as the students, advance in their high school career, definitely try to focus on academic programs that align with the major. Again, if you don't know exactly major, but it's STEM, it has to be science or computer science or math, etc. If you know your student is more humanities, it may be writing or political, science or economics. So you can always find a program that aligns more with students' potential major or an interest. Independent project or research are great. There are some online programs that offer that, and maybe actually in-person programs as well. They usually are competitive, but you don't have to be in, again, organized research program. So if you know, maybe through your friends, professors or PhD students in certain schools, you can maybe your student can interview with them and see if there is an opportunity. Students sometimes write letters to professors they maybe follow and they're interested to work with. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely is worthwhile to find some kind of project or research to do. And if you didn't have to pay for it, even better. For athletes at summer camp, sports camps to improve their skills, to show their dedication to the sport. It could be also paid or volunteer work. Colleges really like to see students working. They want to see that the student is committed. They know what it is to show up on time and manage their schedule and have a responsibility of an actual job. Volunteer work is also great. Again, if you're doing volunteer work, I would try to align it with your student interest, if possible. If your student like to volunteer in a dog shelter, for example, that's fine, that's perfect. Even if it does not align with their personal or professional interest, right? But if you can align it, that will be great. If the student is interested in business, starting your own business over summer, maybe getting together with a few friends, maybe helping nonprofit organization is also great. Cultural immersion programs, language programs, all of that is great. And again, it's worth more if it's aligned with your potential major. So now I promise that we will discuss what your students can do every year during their high school. So freshman year is kind of laying the foundation and exploring. So they would choose the subjects they taking in high school right now, probably in 8th grade. So try to see if you can do, if they can choose honors courses. I doubt there will be any AP, but core subjects, honors coursework in math, science, history, English, and foreign language, definitely important. Also, I think most of the schools, I don't know if you have any international families right now on call, but some international schools do not offer art, or maybe it's not a graduation requirement. Be aware that some universities, it is a must to have 2 semesters of art. For example, University of California system, you need to have some kind of art. So don't dismiss art just because your student is not interested in art. So be very strategic about the courses they are taking. Build strong study habits. This is the time to do now. And right now, freshman students are selecting subjects for next year, so be very strategic about that. I bet they would be offered, if they are in US, at least one AP they can take. So if it's something they would like to explore, definitely take opportunity to do that. As far as extracurricular activity, unless your student has a focus that they know they want to do something, then explore clubs, sports, community service, internship, maybe shadowing your friends and family at certain jobs, just to see what kind of interest they might have. Plan for summer. Job might be too early, but career academic explorations are great. Family responsibilities are important. Build good relationship with your teachers and school counselors, even that early. It is important. Some of your teachers will be recommending you for honors and AP coursework. Some of your teachers will be writing teachers recommendations for summer programs. School counselors might send out transcripts. So try building those relationships now. And I would suggest to everybody, and I always suggest it to everybody I work with, set up a student email account dedicated to colleges, research summer program, etc. We all have emails full of spam with random emails that we get, and sometimes very important emails just get lost. So I would suggest right after your, or maybe not right after today's session, today's meeting, but maybe next week, just set up a student email account. Simple, I don't know, john.smith in 2025, dedicated for college research, exploration, summer program, etc. And have this account for next 4 years where you will interact with colleges, you'll sign up for college visits and apply for summer programs, etc. And that's the account that parents might have access to as well. So there is no private information for student, but that way you can kind of follow up and see if your student forgot anything or maybe missed an email. I know my students usually don't like email. We do a lot of texting, but it is important for college application to get used to importance of email. Sophomore year. So this is a time to strengthen your academic profile, continue rigorous coursework, consider honors AP IB classes. IB usually in junior year, but there are some pre-AP classes, IB classes they can take. Start possible test prep. Definitely take a diagnostic SAT, ACT test. Take PSAT seriously. It will be important for national merit recognition. The relationship with teachers and counselors is more important. And now it's time, if ninth grade, the students kind of explore different activities. Now it's time to deepen the involvement and into some of the activities that your student liked or was interested in. Plan for summer, consider opportunities that include exploration of academic interest and career ideas. Again, it's not too late. You can still explore, you can try new things. I actually have a student right now who always thought he wanted to do business. Just because his father is in business and his brothers are continuing that. It was kind of a default for him. And only in his junior year, he realized he actually likes engineering. So we're now scrambling to find a kind of exploratory programs to see if engineering is really for him. So it's never too late, but the earlier you start, the better it is. So junior is this very critical year, and I don't want to scare my students and don't want to scare you because it's okay. Just take a deep breath. Everything could be done. Everything can be fixed. But there is a lot going on in junior year. So a lot of students will take several APs. Again, I'm a big advocate for APs that matter. So if just try to align them with your major, or if you have time, you are quick study, good reader, then you can take just core AP subjects. That will go a long way. You juniors teacher will be your future recommenders. So they will write your students letters of recommendation. So try to establish the relationship with teachers earlier. A lot will matter because of that. Usually at least 2 teachers required. No, at least 1 teacher required. 2 usually is fine. Sometimes they will allow 3 teachers to write recommendations. The reason the colleges want junior year teachers to write recommendations because they want you to be as close. They want the recommendation to be as close as possible to the senior year when the teacher was able to observe you for entire year. We're applying for universities in the fall of the senior year, so your seniors teachers do not know you that well. They might have observed you only for a couple of months, and you are not the same person as you were in your freshman and sophomore year. So definitely junior year teacher recommendations are super important, and that those relationships are important. You will take an official PSAT test in October with the results in December. You will need to continue your SAT or ACT prep. There is no reason to do both. You need to be strategic about your plan and schedule the testing. When are you going to take which test? Remember, in May, a lot of students will be taking AP tests, so it's not a good idea to take AP and SAT at the same time. So it's probably going to be fall if you're ready, then March, and then maybe June, or maybe it'll be March, June, and August. But try to plan for that ahead of time. Your extracurricular activities now are very focused. The depth is definitely more important than breadth. If years ago colleges wanted a well-rounded person, you have to go to space, and you also have to write a book and be an amazing athlete. Now that's not the case. Focus, so they want well-rounded class. So one might be musician, another student might be athlete, third might be amazing in economics. So the activities that matter, that's what you need to focus on. Leadership is always important. Research, independent project jobs, like we discussed before. And junior year is obviously a time when you explore colleges. And I'll talk a little bit about that more when we have Q&A. I actually have a whole presentation how to select universities. But even if you can start early in the sophomore year, just visiting local schools that are not too far, or maybe you're going on vacation to California or skiing in Colorado, you can start looking at different schools just to get a feel, not because necessarily you're going to go there, but just to get a feel. Do you want a large school? Do you want a smaller school? Do you want the school that is in the city or in the suburbs? Do you want to, kind of a big spirit campus and a college town, or be blending in the city life? Also, when you explore colleges, when you visit, first of all, sign up with your now new email that you have. A lot of schools track the demonstrated interest, so that's important that it's a consistent one email. When you visit, talk to the students, talk to admissions. You can ask to meet with somebody from a specific department and understand not just the requirements of university, but also of the program you're applying to. So computer science program might have a very different requirements that College of Art and Sciences, or obviously, performing arts program. So 9th grade about exploration, building good habits. 10th grade about strengthening your academic and extracurricular activity. 11th grade, it's when everything comes together now and you're ready, know what schools you're exploring, what schools kind of, might work for you. And this time in the junior year, we have a pretty good idea where the students will be applying. Especially after March, when we have a solid SAT score, like real SAT score, then that's it. We build a list of colleges. So this is as close as it gets to applications. So this is it. I'm open for, please unmute your microphones. I'm ready to your questions. I would like to add that ask us anything. Now I have a assistant, my personal bot rather, that I don't know how to do this. So this is a QR code. So I fed my bot information, everything that I know. So hopefully it'll give you good answers, but then you can always sign up and meet with me one-on-one and discuss your particular student. I know some of you submitted questions, but you could just unmute your microphones. You can turn on the camera and I'll answer everything live. And then, I can start with the questions that were asked during the on the registration form. And thank you everybody for coming. And please help me out. Follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. I'm actually planning to do another webinar. I have not decided when, but I just went to Scotland, and last year I was in France and in Spain, and a lot of my students apply not just to colleges in US, but also in Canada, in Europe, and UK. So I would like to do a webinar focused on European schools. So follow us. I will put the information there where our webinar on European schools will be taking place. Okay.